I am Dominus Cinephile.
Welcome to my movie and TV series reviews, where I will provide honest opinions of the latest releases. If the movie or TV series is a hit or a miss, be sure to know I will inform you. But if the movie or series is trash, be also sure to know that I will trash the hell out of the movie. I am Dominus Cinephile.
Today, we have the Nollywood movie, Ijakumo, also known as The Born Again Stripper, on the review table. The Born Again Stripper is a 2022 movie produced by Toyin Abraham. It graced the theaters on December 23, 2022. The movie is directed by Adebayo Tijani and Steve Sodia and stars Toyin Abraham, Kunle Remi, Lalade Okasanya, Bimbo Akintola, Olamide Aworu, and Lillian Afegbai. The Born Again Stripper tells the story of Asabi, played by Toyin Abraham, the daughter of a powerful spiritualist who is determined to ruin the life of her ex-lover, Jide, played by Kunle Remi. Jide, now a renowned Lagos big pastor, had betrayed Asabi, leaving her to die. However, Jide himself is not a true man of God, but rather part of a sinister cabal involved in various atrocities. In her relentless pursuit to destroy Pastor Jide, Asabi seeks the assistance of Sharon, portrayed by Lalade Okasanya, a stripper and a church worship leader who Jide begins to develop lustful desires for. This illicit affair opens a Pandora's box of crises far beyond what Pastor Jide could have ever imagined. What an amazing synopsis that should lead to an incredible story and movie. That was my exact thought before diving into this film with its title written in Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator-style fonts. To be honest, I didn't watch this movie last year when it premiered in the cinemas, nor did I hear anything about it. However, here we are in July 2023, and the movie is suddenly generating a lot of buzz because Netflix decided to add it to their list of Nollywood movies on their streaming platform. With little or no expectations, I decided to watch the movie written by Toyin Abraham and Kehinde Joseph, after a friend insisted that I see it and write a review. Well, I've seen the movie, and now it's time for my review. Let me start by saying this: the movie had the potential to be good. However, as is often the case with most Nollywood filmmakers, their lack of necessary storytelling skills always ends up hindering them. Unfortunately, this movie falls into that category. There's a lot to unpack from this poorly executed movie, and I will attempt to address each issue one by one, starting with the uninspiring performances by the actors and the disjointed storyline. First and foremost, could someone please help me understand why Toyin Abraham thought it made sense for her to take on the lead role in this movie? She did nothing noteworthy throughout the film, aside from her scenes where she spoke Yoruba. Her character lacked memorability, except for the fact that she sported those long annoying street-sweeping dreadlocks. There's a particular scene at the beginning of the movie where she stood on a Lumo rock and attempted to do the hair flipping or cape flipping move commonly seen in Hollywood movies. Well, guess what? Her heavy dreadlocks simply refused to cooperate, resulting in a scene that was downright hilarious to me. The abundance of unconnected scenes and disjointed plots in this movie raises questions about the competence of the writers and directors. I'm still trying to comprehend Pastor Jide's rationale for joining the syndicate group, especially after he had already received his own diabolical powers from another spiritualist in Ife. Plot holes and confusion permeated this exasperating movie, making it a challenge for me to endure its 2-hour runtime. The movie was practically giving me a headache. It was quite perplexing to understand the identity of the syndicate group. In one scene during their meeting, we see hooded individuals holding candles and positioned behind them, creating an eerie atmosphere reminiscent of an occultic gathering. However, it turns out they're not an occultic group but rather a board of directors involved in the heinous act of human organ harvesting within Pastor Jide's church. This raises the question: why were the hooded individuals carrying candles? Can someone inquire about the director's reasoning behind using candles in a well-lit room? Furthermore, I cannot help but wonder why Pastor Jide would align himself with this group when he already possesses diabolical powers that grant him a thriving mega-church and a large congregation, which generate substantial wealth for him. Watching this movie reinforces what I've been saying about Nollywood movie makers. There seems to be a lack of thought process and a dearth of detailed planning when it comes to storytelling, writing, and directing. The sheer size of the Nigerian population often becomes their motivation for creating weak, lazy narratives. It's difficult to expect them to improve when their subpar work is mistakenly seen as gold. Now, let's delve into the character of Sharon, portrayed by Lalade Okasanya, who is both a stripper and a church worship leader in this movie. At the beginning of the film, we witness Sharon leading praise and worship in Pastor Jide's church during a service. After the service, she approaches the pastor seeking financial assistance for her ailing sister. Here's where things get frustratingly convoluted and annoying in this Sharon church girl stripper storyline. Earlier in the movie, we are introduced to Asabi, played by Toyin Abraham, who is shown selecting a stripper from a lineup of girls on a screen. She chooses Sharon, who is initially presented as a Ugandan girl working to repay her father's debt. However, unbeknownst to the audience, Sharon is actually a Nigerian twin who was separated from her sister for some inexplicable reason. The twin sister, Mary, also portrayed by Lalade Okasanya, is the church worship leader. The plot is becoming increasingly perplexing, approaching the height of Mount Everest. Mary, the worship leader in church, is completely unaware of Sharon, a stripper from Uganda. According to the story, both characters are supposed to be identical twins, and for now, Lalade is portraying both of them. However, it appears that the directors and writers are underestimating the audience's intelligence, assuming that we won't question the implausibility of twins separated at birth, raised in different countries without any knowledge of each other, and yet astonishingly sharing identical body features, height, and even hair and makeup. This movie demands that we suspend our disbelief and watch it like fools, which is both pointless and frustrating. Towards the end of the movie, everything had gone haywire for Pastor Jide. He was desperately searching for a stolen thumb drive that Sharon had taken to give to Asabi. Yes, there was a ridiculous thumb drive plot involving a hacker in this mindless film. The scene with the hacker was unbelievably absurd and lacked any logical sense. Can you imagine a hacker being able to extract login details just by knowing the name of a device? It's quite funny. Returning to the conclusion of the movie, it turned out that Pastor Jide mistakenly captured the wrong Sharon to torment. He ended up apprehending a different girl who the directors had cast as Mary. Therefore, a different actress is now portraying Mary. Later on, Pastor Jide's brother will capture the real Sharon and deliver her to him, resulting in both Sharon and the new Mary appearing together in a scene. I couldn't help but think about how dim-witted the directors and writers of this movie must perceive the audience. Why is there a completely different person playing the role of Mary now? How could Jide not recognize that the new Mary, who looks skinny, is not the real Mary? It doesn't make any sense. If there's a guidebook on how to create foolish and uninspiring movies, this film certainly follows it. Moreover, what was with Asabi's X-Men Magneto-like abilities displayed at the end of the movie? For someone with such powers and capabilities, why did she need Sharon to steal a worthless thumb drive that had no relevance to the plot? And during the flashback scene where young Jide abandoned Asabi on Alumo Rock, leaving her to die, what actually happened there? Did she perish and go to heaven to see her father, or did she experience a miraculous transformation? The inconsistencies and stupidity in this movie were multiplying, and I couldn't tolerate it any longer. The movie is essentially a mishmash of different stories clumsily thrown together, resulting in an irritating and disjointed experience. It starts off as an epic tale centered around Asabi and her spiritually powerful father, but then abruptly transitions into a narrative about a church involved in money laundering. From there, it shifts gears once again to explore the topic of organ harvesting, only to introduce a subplot involving a church worship leader who is also a stripper. And to add to the confusion, we are suddenly introduced to Asabi the mutant. Interestingly, none of the supposed themes of money laundering or organ harvesting are actually depicted in the film. Not a single scene touches upon those aspects. Furthermore, could someone please explain the presence of the Igbo guy in Abeokuta when he encounters young Jide and Asabi? That particular scene stands out as one of the most nonsensical and foolish scenes I have ever witnessed in a movie. There's simply no way this movie had a coherent script. I seriously doubt if it was even screened before its release. The only redeeming aspect of this movie is the casting choice for the younger versions of Pastor Jide and Asabi. Apart from that, the film plummeted into utter ruin. The sound effects and score failed to evoke any sense of intimidation. Instead, they came across as funky rather than frightening. And don't get me started on the sound engineering, which, as is often the case in Nollywood, proves to be a major issue. They never seem to get the sound right. The movie, which was intended to be terrifying, suffered from excessively bright lighting. The color grading should have been darker to create a truly chilling atmosphere. Furthermore, the actors lacked depth and their performances were subpar. None of the actors had that wow factor required to carry the movie. Bimbo Akintola, the supposed leader of the syndicate group, and her team were meant to be a menacing and terrifying group. However, all we witnessed were mundane meetings and unimpressive dialogues without any impactful presence. The Born-Again Stripper is simply a collection of weak, incoherent stories woven into a movie that lacks both meaning and entertainment value. This film is a colossal failure on the part of the producer and everyone involved in its creation. And now for my rating. The Born-Again Stripper receives a dismal score of 1 out of 10. I'm definitely trashing this. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, and share this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on TikTok and Instagram for more movie and TV series reviews. Dominus Cinephile signing out.